The motivation will fail you. Yes, you heard right. This phrase may seem tough, but that is precisely why you need to listen to this episode until the end. Because today is the day you stop depending on motivation and starts to depend on something much more powerful. Stay with me, because today's impact episode will open your eyes, transform your routine, and perhaps change your way of learning English forever. But before we dive into this subject that is undoubtedly a watershed, let me tell you something important. You don't have to be fluent today. No need to get everything right now. Much less need to be guilty because they still can't talk naturally. The truth is that everyone has gone through this. That feeling of excitement when deciding to learn English. And days later, demotivation appears, like a shadow that takes away your energy, your faith, and leaves you paralyzed. You start listening to songs, watching series, noting phrases, but suddenly, you feel that you are not going forward. And here comes the cruel doubt. Am I dumb? Don't I serve for that? Is English for others, not for me? Worse than that's not. You are only using a force that is too weak to carry such a big dream. And this force is called motivation. The motivation is like that prevailing rocket, but has fuel for a few seconds. And then, the fall comes. She leaves when you are tired, when it beats insecurity, and disappears when the results are slow to arrive. But calm down. I'm not here to tell you that you must give up. I'm here to show you a more stable, more solid path. And for that, I need you to stay until the end of this video. We will talk about what really supports long-term learning, what makes someone out of I understand but I don't speak to the I live English every day with lightness and confidence. And it all starts with a simple but very powerful skill: hearing. Yes, listen. Listening to English every day, even when you don't understand everything, even when the brain wants to translate word by word, this habit changes everything. Do you know why? Because hearing is the basis of natural understanding. It is like a child who hears parents for months before speaking the first word. She does not study grammar. It does not translate. She just listens, absorbs. And when the brain has already created hard connections enough, it starts to speak. Gradually, naturally, without forced effort. Now think to me. If your brain also has this capacity, why do you insist on starting with the hardest? Motivation pushes you to start learning rules lists, irregular verbs, phrases of effect you would never use in real life. But the practice of hearing takes you another way. A slower path, yes, but deeper, more natural, more true. And that's exactly why we're here. To remind you that you don't have to decorate 1,000 words today. But you need to listen to English today. You need to allow yourself to make mistakes, repeat, confuse yourself, and continue. Because only those who understand that the motivation will fail, but the constancy is what wins in the end. Now take a deep breath. Think the times you charged yourself too much. On the nights you felt unable because you couldn't study. In the videos you saw with promises of English in 3 months. All of this frustrated you because you expected results from a seed that has not even had time to create root. And do you know what is most interesting? When you change the charge for constancy, fear for exposure, and hurry for patience, English starts to get into you naturally. And when you least expect it, you will be talking without translating. Thinking of English, being thrilled with a song and understanding the lyrics, communicating with someone on the other side of the world, and all this without such a magic motivation. But before we continue, I want to make you an invitation. Close your eyes for a moment if you can. Imagine speaking English with confidence. Think of a real situation, an interview, a conversation with someone special. See you expressing yourself lightly, being understood, feeling proud of yourself. Now open your eyes. Because this future is possible and it starts with a small step at a time. And the first step is to keep listening to this video to the end. In the next few minutes, we will unravel all this. Show you why depending on motivation is dangerous. How to create an exposure routine to English that is light, pleasant, but powerful. And how to use hearing practice to transform the way you learn and live this language. Then continue with me. Because what comes now? It may be exactly what you needed to hear. The motivation will fail you because it was not done to last. And the more you expect it to be your daily gasoline, the more you will be frustrated. The truth is that the motivation is like the sun. It appears in a few days, shines strong, warms, gives energy. But in others, it hides behind the clouds. And it is on these cloudy days that a lot of people stop, give up, return to 0 point. But let me tell you something powerful. Who wins on the English journey is neither the smart one nor the most motivated. It is the most constant. It is what appears even unwillingly. This is what hears an audio in English on the bus, even tired. This is what repeats a sentence for 30 days in a row, even without seeing immediate result. This is the true winner, because he understood something simple, but revolutionary. Motivation is emotion. Constancy is a decision. And think to me, how many times have you started full of excitement and after a week that energy left? That desire to study became excuse. That promise of now goes turned into tomorrow I continue. And tomorrow, it never turned. This is not your fault. It is the nature of motivation. It feeds on novelty, quick emotion, instant results. But learning English requires patience, repetition, daily exposure, things that motivation simply cannot sustain. Now here's a secret that almost no one talks about. You don't have to be motivated to learn English. You need to be present. Just that. Present in your listening, present in your practice, present in your attempts, even with errors. The key is to create an environment where English lives with you, where you hear, feel, repeat, absorb. Not as an obligation, but as part of your routine. And do you want to know what makes it possible? The practice of hearing. Yes, again. Because listening to English every day, even for 5 minutes, reprogram your brain, accustoms your ear. Take the fear. Drop barriers. It makes you realize that understanding English is not a gift. It is a skill that is built like any other. Brick by brick, word by word, repetition after repetition. Do you know that movie you love? That podcast about a theme you like? That song you listen to in your teens? All of this can be a learning tool. You don't have to start by decorating verbs. You can start by connecting with the language, listening, living, feeling. And the cool thing, the more you hear, the more natural English becomes for you. Now think to me, and if you stopped seeking motivation and start building consistency? And if, instead of waiting to be in the mood, you decided to listen to English every day at the same time? As those who brush your teeth, like who drinks water, as who takes care of yourself. This decision changes everything. And it doesn't have to be perfect. By the way, you forget perfectionism. Perfection paralyzes. And in English, those who make mistakes most learn faster. The secret is not knowing everything, but to continue even when you don't know. It's in repeating simple phrases. You are accepting that you still don't understand everything. And yet, follow. Like who plants a tree? Everyday water. Even if you don't see sprouting. Because it trusts it will grow. Now look around you. How many people do you know that they started studying English and stopped? How many said they were going to try again, and they never came back? The majority. And you know why? Because they all had the motivation. But you now know something they didn't know. You have an advantage. You understand that the motivation will fail, but the habit will get you up, all day. Then breathe, welcomes, and commit to the process. Choose a moment of your day to hear English. Just listen. Even without understanding everything, even if it looks little. Because this is construction, and solid construction starts on the floor, not at the top. You can learn English. You can communicate. You can unlock. You can understand movies, talk to foreigners, travel safely, win a better place, change your life. But that doesn't come with empty promises. It comes with small actions done every day, with or without motivation. So, don't wait for the perfect moment anymore. Create a routine that works for you. And remember, it's not about studying much one day. It's about studying a little every day. This is the secret of those who win. This is the secret of fluent. And do you know what is most beautiful in all this? It's just that halfway, when you are already walking with your own feet, the motivation, it will come back. Only this time, not as a saving, but as a consequence. Because it always comes back when you start to see the results. When you realize that you already understand excerpts from a song. When you respond something without thinking about Portuguese. When someone praises you and says, "Wow, your English is great." But then, you no longer depend on her. Because you have already learned the way. Has already created roots. You have made English part of your story. And no one takes it out of you. Now that you know, motivation will fail. But what if I tell you that this is not a tragedy, but a liberation? Yes. Because the moment you understand that you don't have to be motivated to continue, you get free. Free from guilt. Free of self-accomplishment. Free from the idea that it only works when everything is perfect. From now on, What will move you is the decision. And more than that, it is the love for your own journey. It's that daily choice to say, today, I continue. Even tired, even with doubts, even without applause, because you no longer depend on passenger feelings. You depends on you. And this is where magic happens. When you transform English into a habit of life. When he is no longer a burden and becomes a companion. When he hears English phrases is no longer a challenge and becomes a discovery. Because true learning is not born of forced effort, it is born of the meeting, of contact, of repetition with purpose. The pleasure of understanding, gradually, a new language that expands your life. Now I want you to stop and reflect for a moment. What is your real motivation to learn English? Is it travel? Is it better to communicate at work? Is it growing? Is it free? Whatever it is, that is worth your commitment. Not for what you feel today, but for what you want to reap tomorrow. And look, you can write it down. If you practice active listening every day, with constancy, lightly, you will change. You will understand more. It will think differently. It will be surprised. It won't be overnight to the day, but it will happen. Because no one who walks a little every day remains in the same place. So here are some practical tips to start right now. Put English in your routine as a ritual. Choose a time of day when you will hear something in English, even for 5 minutes. It can be a podcast, a song, a series with original audio. Don't worry about understanding everything. Worry about listening carefully. It is this practice that teaches your brain how to recognize patterns, sounds, structures. Have a sentence that you repeat every day. A simple phrase. Something like, I believe in myself, or I'm learning every day. Say aloud. Listen to yourself speaking English. This is training your pronunciation, yourself, confidence, and especially your relationship with the language. And never compare with others. Your rhythm is yours. Your process is unique. The only fair comparison is who you were yesterday. Now I want to leave a sentence for you to keep in your heart. Motivation puts you in the starting line, but it's the discipline that takes you to the finish line. You were born to win, not because it's perfect, but because it is able to persist even in difficult days. And learning English is just one of the many amazing things you will still achieve. If this video touched you, inspired you, made you think, subscribe here on the channel right now. Leave a comment saying what moved the most with you, and share with someone who is also on this journey, but is feeling lost. Here, we walk together. Here, you will never feel alone in your walk with English. And if you liked this episode, I invite you to watch the next, because each video here is made to transform you, one step at a time. Thank you for being here. May your day be full of courage, and that you never depend only on motivation, because now you have something much stronger, your decision. I see you in the next video.